Hello again. It's Brian. I just wanted to say really quick that I hope your New Year's off to a good start. And it is my birthday this weekend. So the best way that you could support Void Signal and maybe celebrate my birthday is if you visited voidsignal.net and signed up for the Void Signal Patreon. You can sign up for as little as $2, and all the tiers are the same because we're all equal. Anyway, there's also merch and stuff on there. I don't know. I redesigned it. It looks nice. I'm excited and proud of it. Visit it with your eyes and hearts, maybe, and wallets also, if you if you like. All right. Anyway, I hope you are well, and we will talk again soon. Please take care. Bye. All right. I'm gonna turn my camera off. So there we go.
Okay. Yeah, I realized. Yeah, I was like, "Oh shit, I don't have a camera."
No, it's totally
fine.
fine.
My laptop, which is terrible. This is like my studio mic, and it sounds better.
No, you sound perfectly fine. No, it's chill. Like sometimes, like I just put it on as an option. Like if people want to do video, like visual.
Oh, I'd rather see people anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's no big deal. It's never used anyway. All right. Well, anyway, enough of this bullshit. Thank you so much for making this work. You
absolutely.
I'm trying to do a new thing where I do intros. I normally do not, but welcome to Void Signal. I'm Brian Prime. My guest is Matt Fanale of Caustic and KLACK, and I mean, you've put your fingers in a whole bunch of things. I do put my fingers in anything I can. It's early for that.
Getting sassy.
Yeah, it's a little erotic already. But you are a figure in the scene. Like, you are a person that people know, and you've been in it for a long time. And, as somebody who was, like, writing for Region for a long time, like, I've been aware of Caustic and your work for most of your career, pretty much since you have kind of started. And cool. So this is, a long time coming to me is how it feels, I guess. So thank you.
I appreciate your asking. Oh, well, thanks I appreciate your inviting me to join you. This is, it's an honor.
Yeah. Let's not go that far, but, but thank you either way.
I mean, I'll rescind it if this is terrible.
I mean, yeah, thank you. Yeah. I want you welcome. To keep it real. That's what we're asking for.
I have no choice. I'm bad at faking it.
Yeah. You're also a very outspoken sort of figure in the scene. But I guess before we get into like, the gooey bits, we will, where did you come from? How the hell did you start making music? Who is Caustic? Who is Matt Fanale? Why should anybody give a shit?
I've never quite understood my appeal in many ways, but I live in Madison, right now, right outside Madison, Wisconsin, and I was a DJ. I've been a DJ, still am, since the late 90s, and I met my now wife, and she kind of introduced me to a bunch of people, and one of those people was Ned Kirby, who, if you know anything about the scene, is the lead guy is Stromgren. And so he and I became pals. I didn't actually, like, my wife, I had moved away for a little bit. And she made me a mixtape because this was a long time ago.
Mm.
But there was a Stromgren song on there. And I was like, what is this? This guy sound like this, this evil giant, 6'5" monster man. Like,
Yeah.
and then I met him and I'm like, oh, you mean the guy I would talk about Tricky with when we were getting drunk at this bar we all hung out at?
Yeah.
Oh, that's that guy. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, he's like this nerdy dude who's just like me. And then I was starting to wanting to make music, and there were other bands that were around, like Null Device and Stochastic Theory and Sensuous Enemy together by then. Control Shift, a bunch of bands, and our artists. I guess most of them are like one artist things, but I kind of kept wanting to make music, and then I ended up in Milwaukee at a show that had, I believe it was it Memetic and Manufacturer. So Manufacturer was the reason. Maybe Monster from Sepsis. Anyway, but Manufacturer Carlos was playing, and I was like, I'd never heard something like that live, and I'm like, I can do this. I think not exactly what he was doing, because what he was doing was light years beyond what I was doing when I started. But I was like, I can, because it's just like this one guy up there, and it was just like this pounding noise and samples, and like I could do that. And then I borrowed, or actually I got a cracked version of Fruity Loop Studio from a friend, which eventually I bought, and I legitimately own now. But
Thanks for going legit, Matt.
I just want to say that, sometimes you learn a little bit in life, and you shouldn't steal software that's very cheap to begin with. Yeah, it's like I stole Pro Tools and bought that later.
Right.
Anyway, but then I started kind of playing around and basically knew nothing about how to do anything. And I know a modicum more at this point. It's been 20 plus years. So I just kind of learned by doing. And you can even hear my very, very, very first song, which is incredibly not a song or good. But I put that out there because I'm a big process guy, and I like to show people, everybody starts somewhere. And I mean, I'm by far not the most technical or classically trained type of fella in the scene, but I mean, I don't suck.
Sure.
I've gone beyond not sucking, or I mean, beyond sucking to not sucking now. So yeah,
Right.
so that's kind of where I came from. And before that, I was big into improv comedy, and before that, I was really big into like screenwriting, and before that, doing art. And so I just kind of have moved all over the place. I'm just a jack off of all trades. So yeah. And so Caustic's been fun, and it's been working out. I've branched out into other areas. So that's the long-winded thing that explaining myself.
Sure. No, I can appreciate that. And I am grateful for your comprehensive answer. Um,
Good, because I'm really bad at shutting up.
No, it's
so
fine.
you can just tell me to be quiet at any time, by the way.
No, it's totally fine. That is a problem I also have, which is why I have a
good.
podcast, but where I have to like restrain myself of like, don't interrupt your guest, like turn your mic off so that you don't interrupt and like, erupt in excitement. So yes, I get you.
Yeah. So that's the origin story.
Gotcha. And to be candid, I also subscribe to your philosophy of showing process. I've debated going back and remastering older Void Signal episodes just to put them up to a higher quality of kind of what I've learned to do now. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I was a baby then. Like it should feel like it gets better as it goes along, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and also, I mean, first, to me, I'm always like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to go back and like rework a track, and I have only done that one time, but that was a total like redo of the track in terms of the style. But to me, I'm kind of like, yeah, just let it be. I mean, in my world, I'm also like, how many people are going to hear it anyway? So it's like, do I want to spend that kind of time? Although, I mean, remastering like older episodes and just like re-EQing them is not that difficult by comparison. But no, I hear what you're saying. But yeah, I'm kind of just it was what it was. It's fine. It's fine. I love that I sucked. I mean, unless I was worse now, but I'm not. So it's like, Matt, you've learned. literally nothing in the 20 plus years
Right.
we've been doing this. So,
I mean, maybe we're both
but yeah.
idiots. That's a possibility too.
Oh,
We're like
that's a definite for me. But
we're
I
both
don't know.
like
I don't know you well enough to judge it just
no, I'll offer that up. That's accurate. Because I mean, for all I know, like I'm all like, oh, I've come so far, and people are like, have you though? I mean, it's fine.
All right. That's nice that you think that. That's
I mean,
so nice that
as long
you
as
feel
we
good
feel
for
it,
you.
that's what matters.
Good
If
for you.
if we feel gooey about it, that's what matters. It's
That's
a win at
enough.
the end of the
That's enough.
at the end of any day.
I say feel good about what you can feel good about. Life's too short.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of life being short, I didn't have a follow-up question. I was hoping at like
I was gonna
something
say,
really,
I'm like, if you're like,
I was hoping
I was
something-
diagnosed with like, no, this
No.
got real sad, real fast.
I was hoping for
I
something
thought
like
Void Signal was supposed to be fun.
that's what people think. It's not. It's a huge downer. It's but no, I wish I'd had something. Usually I would have like had like something ready to go of like, speaking of, but you know, I had nothing.
Okay.
I guess I could ask well, let's discuss your new release. It's got some there was a track on there that I liked. Weed Santa was the play.
Weed Santa.
Uh,
Yeah.
Love Weed Santa.
Oh, fantastic. I think it's an awesome track. I was very happy with that. So.
I also wanted to on the subject of your music though, and this was a point that I had slipped my mind a moment ago, but so I have been aware of you and Caustic for quite some time, and like earlier Caustic was not my thing. Like I'm just honest about that. Like
It was not a lot of people's thing.
I mean,
no offense taken. I didn't, as
Yeah.
I said, I didn't know what I was doing. And I mean, and I'm not saying that as an apology for my early stuff. It was
Sure.
what it was. It was, but yeah, again, if you look, then and now, it's a very different animal. And
Yes.
so no offense taken whatsoever.
Okay.
I'd rather you like my new stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's better.
okay, I agree. I do agree, and that's how I feel about like my own bullshit that I make. Is that like it's okay. It's sometimes it's not great. Like that's fine. Like we do and we fail or whatever. But
Yeah.
I was listening to American Carrion in the run up to the interview, and what a wholesome, like great industrial record this is. Like it's
Oh, well, thank you very much.
like in the very sort of truest sense of the word. Like it's industrial music that upholds all of the hallmarks that made me love it. You know what I mean? It's inflammatory and it's loud.
It's very kind.
And it's brave.
Yeah,
and it
it's-
says smart political things.
With a lot of F-bombs included.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm real proud of that. That was like my hallmark. Like I've been working on new stuff for a while, and for a long time, I'm like, am I going to be able to top what I felt like I did in American Carrion? And I think I'm getting there. It's a different kind of thing that I'm doing now in terms of just subject matter things. That was like my very big angry political album, and which I was kind of like, not a lot of. Where the fuck is everybody? I can swear on this, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I figured it was okay. Just wanted to make sure because I didn't
Yeah.
want to be a rude person.
I appreciate your courtesy.
Yep. I have a terrible mouth, but I also know how to not have a terrible mouth. But no, I was what was I saying? Oh yeah, so that's my big political album, and I was kind of just fucking angry, and so I'm like, I'm going all in. I'm taking a side, and I'm gonna take it very bluntly, and I don't give a shit. And if you don't like, first off, I assume the vast majority of my fans, other than maybe cursory fans, would have no confusion over what my stance would be on anything, because I'm very open about that, and I've always been very, my people that like my music, they are like, family in the same way. Like I'll even put it out there. It's a very ICP vibe with me sometimes, where I'm just like, nope, we're all a big fucking crew, and we look out for each other, and I love everybody, and it's, I don't stand for bullshit,
Sure.
So I didn't have a lot of pushback in terms of that, and in terms of like Tom Shearer will say something, and then like he doesn't. That's not normally what he talks about, but Tom is a very upfront and brave dude, and because he has a much bigger fan base than I do, and a lot more money that he could be losing in the process. Mine is nominal to nothing, but I've just seen his fans freak out, but Tom kind of tells them to shove it.
Yes.
Generally as politely as possible. He's a very nice guy, but
Very.
I'm sure he would tell somebody to shove it. Um, but yeah, with me, American Carrion was my, yeah, I was a pretty laser focused on that one. And that was like almost 6 years ago now that it came out. So
Yeah.
been a while.
Still painfully relevant, perhaps. Um,
Yeah, I don't like that. I
yeah, me
was
either.
hoping
Yeah,
that
me.
I was
I was
hoping that was
optimistic
not going to be a
once.
thing any longer.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got kids, and
I wish I'd been able to
feel I
listen
have
to
to.
it and been like, "Oh, this didn't age well." No.
Yeah, I would like it to like people going, what's this weird
Mm.
relic of very angry, and he says the F bomb like 400 times in the first song. So it's which I don't know if I topped it in this other song.
But I that is you
I
did
have
touch on the thing.
I'm lazy.
It's chill. But there that you did touch on the thing that I wanted to ask you about though is that you you said that you had that feeling of where is everybody on some of these issues. Um,
Yeah.
that is a feeling I have felt in this scene for a while now. Of did we all suddenly forget that we're supposed to be the fucking good guys on a lot of these things? Like, and so
I
there's a lot of. I feel like there's maybe a lot of silence when there should not be. What are your thoughts?
I yes and no. I think it's a harder with the internet with there's a person who I don't even know if it's her first real name is her name is Uzi, I guess. Probably not her real first name, but she made a comment on a post recently that there are content creators and there's artists, and the content creators are the ones that are silent when shit goes down because they care about is their algorithm and their streams, and they don't want to rock the boat for anything. And artists are the ones who are going to say something. I mean, this is giving myself a pat on the back, but I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because I was one of the loudest people during all that shit. And it does annoy me that more people weren't stepping up to the plate. And there were some, and some that people that have dismissed over the years that did step up and were saying things, but people don't pay attention to that person as much anymore for whatever reason. Some legitimate, some very legitimate, and some not so much. But it's I just don't. I'm a fucking middle aged, which I hate the term, middle aged white guy, right? And I don't have a lot to lose in the situations that are in this world these days. And I am top of the food chain in terms of just how the social hierarchy works, which is a bullshit hierarchy, as everybody knows. And I don't think I could live with myself if I didn't say something, because I
Mm.
have tons of queer friends. I have tons of specifically trans friends from high school to now. I've just been honored to meet so many different people that I will never have that experience. And it bothers the shit out of me when people aren't really saying something. They might, take a little swipe on their own Facebook or post something on their Facebook, their personal Facebook that's locked down. But as an artist, they like, oh, this is a little different than what I normally would talk about. And I mean, I have got 4,000 people on my Facebook, so it's like you've got literally nothing to lose. This is not going to screw up
Right.
your rent money, Again, I'm long-winded, so I apologize. But yeah, I just said fuck this. My parents were hippies in Madison. They got tear gassed. The FBI had a file on my dad,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. So I come from a lineage, and my father, gosh rest his soul, had passed away a long time ago. But I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm my mother and father's son. This is some horse shit. I don't care if
That's
this isn't
industrial
my
as
money.
fuck. I don't.
It's punk. It's fuck. I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just nobody has. It's like nobody has the guts to really say something. Very few people do.
Mm.
At least it seems that way to me. Of whatever stature I am. So there's a lot of smaller artists that they just don't care because they're nothing to really lose. And I honestly don't have anything really to lose. But nobody, I'm not doing this to call them up. Like the V and V's didn't say anything.
Yes.
The KMFDMs might have. I mean, there was like a lot of anything that was not actually the KMFDMs probably did, but nobody from like my class or the class above me
Mm,
of artists that the people that I was booking for shows before I started getting booked myself for shows, that kind of class up.
mm.
Yeah, it was painfully silent. Tom Shears did some stuff, and Tom, I have nothing but love and respect for. I've known him for 20 years at this point, but yeah, he was like one of the only ones I noticed saying something, and I wasn't like I was going to each page and going, do you have an opinion on things as they are? But yeah, anyway, just rambling. But
No, it's totally
yeah,
fine. That is
it's
the point of Void Signal, is a little bit of rambling. I will try and bring it back, but I wanted to ask you about this because this is a thing I agree with you about. Um,
good.
I don't take my own reputation terribly seriously. I just sort of do and say as I please. And there have been a number of hot button topics that have occurred in this scene in the past month. Um,
Oh yeah,
that have
I'm aware.
that you have been unafraid to be loud about. First off, I wanted to thank you for that. It is a thing that I think should be applauded and admired.
Thank you.
And it's one of the things I love so dearly about people like yourself, is that be willing to speak up and say things. And the other name I want to mention, as far as being brave, Tara Savidra. Wonder, having the courage to, like you said, like, I don't have much to lose. I will tag these people. I will speak and, make my voice heard for whatever it is worth. Maybe it's worth nothing, but you
Yeah,
still did the right thing, which is what we're supposed to be doing, I thought. But maybe it doesn't
yeah.
fucking matter. I don't know.
It's yeah, and it's not. I have lots of friends that were also saying things, but again, not with not to give my, I don't know, not with my platform. It's like people like to point out sometimes that, oh man, you have a lot of people that listen to you. I'm like, "Oh, that's weird," but just the same. But yeah, not of the platforms that can hit a lot more ears a lot more quickly, or eyes, I
Mm-hmm.
guess would be, if we're posting things on the internet. But yeah, it's I don't know. I would not sit by the sidelines anymore. And it's and I'm good pals with Shearer, and I think it's a very insulated community. There are people that will take a stand given certain topics. There are some people that are simply pretty performative about it, and they're just like, oh, we're all gonna, okay, let's all have an opinion on this real fast. And I have been in that party too, so I'm not trying to again call anybody out specifically, but it's I don't stand idly by when I'm not in danger, but people that I care about are, whether that be politically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
physically, or otherwise. So
Agree.
it pisses
Maximum.
me off.
Yes. Concur maximum on this particular
Thank you.
topic. But yeah, I don't, I don't want to like sling too much mud or anything, but it was a thing that I wanted to at least pick your brain about and just sort of, I don't know, hear what your thoughts about it were, as far as, whatever it
Sure.
may be. Do you, I assume Caustic is a thing you will be doing until you cannot do it. Um,
Um, Possibly. I don't know. A part of me was actually thinking about tossing in the towel after these two albums. It'll be like 10 albums then. Well, I guess official albums.
mhm.
But I say that because let's say Daddy Bear and KLACK are doing really well, so
Mhm.
that's also what's getting focused on by people more.
Oh, I
But I mean,
just
there's
have to
definitely
jump in. I am sorry to interrupt you, Matt. I do have to just jump in and say that I do really like Daddy Bear a lot.
thank you.
I
Yeah, it's I appreciate that. It's been nice because it was the first one that I kind of like. Okay, I'm gonna try a very for me as a solo thing.
mm,
Originally, just try for a normal palette of sounds or a more consistent palette of sounds. With Caustic, I can kind of go. I've done everything from like electro ska to trip hop to hardcore.
yeah.
So I don't limit my brush strokes on that. But yeah, it's been nice to see it really take off, and a lot of that has to do with Marie, Grab Your Face, who does the vocals on it too. Because I brought them in to, because I was just thought, I'm like, this is the only voice that I want for these songs.
Yeah.
And we had known each other a little bit online. Then I just approached them and said, hey, would you be interested in this? And totally down. And we've had a lot of fun. And we're just both fans of each other, so it's great. Yeah. And yeah, it's but thank you very much. Yeah, I feel great about the project. I think it's really fun. I get to do all my weird little referential stuff in there, and which I
Mhm.
can tell you about later if you want or whatever. But thank you. But I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so
Yeah.
much. And yeah, Caustic. I don't think Caustic's going anywhere for a while.
Okay.
Um, but I just want to finish these damn albums that I've been working on for like 4 years.
Yeah.
But I'll get there.
Gotcha. Um, Anything coming up down the road that you're like pumped about, really excited about? Like what's on the Matt Fanale
Uh,
horizon?
New KLACK EP that we are very much in the process of getting close to finishing. I got a little bit more to do with it. I think I'm done with my vocals for it, but it's been a long time coming. We were really we were both really busy. Eric Ayler, who's my partner in KLACK, did Life. He had to do a Null Device album, which was absolutely incredible, and I highly recommend people checking it out because Eric's Null Device stuff is bonkers good. He and Jill do some great stuff, and yeah, so we've just been finishing that, and I've been taking my time with the lyrics because I enjoyed the last EP we did, but I felt like my lyrics were not up to where I really wanted them to be.
Mm.
Because for that we split duties. Eric pretty much does the music, and then I do the lyrics and a lot of the vocals and stuff too. And because he basically would rather do the music, and I'm like, I would rather do the lyrics because that's easier for me than what you do with the music, which is fantastic. So
Yeah.
so we kind of just yeah, so he tinkers and he makes all the art sound the best he can. I write all the lyrics, do a bunch of vocals, and then I'm kind of the front of house promotions guy when we put stuff out and we get the word out and do amazingly well for what was just a lark one song thing we thought would be kind of goofy to do to make our friends laugh. So yeah, it's been good. So that's the big thing.
Gotcha.
And then yeah, getting more Caustic out. But I have to figure out the next single and yeah, really just dive into the many layers of weirdness I've gotten myself into with these albums that I'm going to be releasing Use Your Illusion style. When
I get
ready.
that reference. I'm old enough.
I don't know if there's another reference that we could do quite like that. No.
Yeah, no, I got nothing. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, maybe. No,
that was a 2 CD thing too. Yeah, that was a double.
That was not. Yeah, separate releases.
And
yeah,
and it's and Use Your Illusion was not. I mean, this is even more fucking involved than that because it's just like two very distinct vibes that I was going for because it's a very personal albums for me, and really dealing with like me and doing reckonings of my past and all this other stuff that I regretted and felt real bad about for a super long time. But now I'm amazingly feeling better. And just yeah, it's really interesting. So, but I also tend to overthink these things. Then when they'll come out, people will be like, "That's a neat album. You sound like Weird Al of Industrial," and I'm like, I literally didn't have anything funny on that album whatsoever. But I am eternally going to be
personal pain. Oh.
you knew my songs about addiction. Oh, and suicidal ideology. Yeah, I guess that is funny.
Hilarious.
I have a dark sense of humor as well, but I don't remember hearing any punchlines in those songs. But that's fine too. Buy my shirts. So yeah, it's but yeah. So once again, talk too much. Yeah, KLACK first, Caustic second.
Gotcha.
And some shows coming up that I'm stoked about too. So
what shows?
I can't announce a couple of them, but I can announce that KLACK is what I'm actually really stoked about. KLACK is playing in Brooklyn. So we're going to finally play the East Coast, which we haven't done. And I grew up in northern Jersey, so it's pretty much my old stomping grounds. But there's Syntheside, which is an amazing label that has put out fantastic stuff. A party also that goes on in Brooklyn that's been going on. It's celebrating its 10th anniversary, and on January, I think it's like 4th through 6th, so right after the new year, they're going to be having live bands and DJs and all kinds of other cool stuff. And we are headlining Friday night, so I am very excited, and I have a lot of old friends that I've known since like I was a kid coming out. My mom's coming up, and it's going to be great. So I'm very, very excited about that because there's just a stacked lineup of the kind of music I like to listen to. So yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll ask you after we cut about the other ones.
I can't. I'm not going to tell you.
How dare you, Matt? that
So bad. Maybe maybe I'll
getting
tell
the
you.
gossip
Either way.
is what I live for. I live
Oh,
for
you're all about the goss. You're
yeah.
all about the
But
goss.
I
All right,
keep it
fair,
down low,
fair.
man. Like I don't leak anything. Like, I'm not like
I don't know,
spilling
man. We don't know each
secrets.
other that well.
That's
I could,
true.
you could like the National Enquirer could have something in the next day's
That's true.
paper that'll be like Bat Boy says Caustic's gonna be headlining Mariluna.
Writing for the
I
National Enquirer sounds about my level if I were
I think
to.
that's where it would be because that's the only thing that might be interested in what I do.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's true. I mean, we both know Rex Arcana. I could probably talk him into like putting something in.
Oh, oh, right. Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I'll give you. You want some goss or some
Yeah, give me the
tea or
gossip on Rex.
some facts.
Yeah,
That Weed Santa was named after Rex Arcana.
I did know that.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you know that?
yes,
Okay,
I
that's
did know
if you were on his
that.
Facebook, he did
Yeah.
mention that on his Facebook,
Yes.
and I just thought that was very funny.
Yes.
It was a nickname that myself and my pal Katya, who's in Caustic, gave him several years ago, and I heard the song and I'm like, it's got this kind of vibe. What is it? And I'm like, Weed Santa.
Weed
So I was like,
Santa.
that's a great title for a song, even without context.
Mhm.
And I thought I thought the vibe was very Weed Santa. If
The vibe
Weed
is
Santa were to have a vibe.
yes. The vibe is very Weed Santa.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it. That is a genre I want more of, and I've been
Or Weed Santa?
more, yeah. Cannabis loving industrial music, and like it'll be bass
Oh
music
my.
about marijuana, and like,
I mean, honestly, I mean that style of music, that's kind of like a dark
Mhm.
dubby, dark industrial dubby stuff is I mean total weed music.
Yeah.
So it's
I like that
I mean,
shit.
I listen to that stuff a lot. I listen to a lot of like the Bug. I mean, it's called the single is called Buggy, and it was basically because I wrote it about like in the Bugs style.
yeah,
Bug is half of Techno Animal and just a great artist, and I'm a big dorky fan of his. But yeah, between that and J.K. Flesh and Gorgon and Scorn and a lot of that stuff, it's yeah, it's I don't think any of those guys are subtle about their intake of marijuana. So
Yeah.
it's fun to listen to.
For
in
sure.
any state in my mind, but yeah, it's definitely I like that kind of dark dubby trip hoppy vibe a lot. So
Me too.
I'll probably make some more stuff in that.
Hell yeah. I can get down on like not all stoner metal. Like some of it's just too dirgy for me and just like not my thing. Just like ridiculous shit. Like we're gonna play the same riff for 8 minutes or whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, it's atmospheric. No, it's just not that interesting.
Yeah. It's
So
boring.
unless you're really high, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't listen to a lot of it. I've checked. I mean, I check things out that I hear about, but I don't place much. I don't give it much time. It's just not my thing. So
Sure.
not bad, just not my thing. So many
Agreed.
things are not my thing. So
Yes. Also for me, a lot of things are not my thing. And I've been
yeah,
very sort of up my own ass with my own things for quite some time.
I feel I'm like I should appreciate more and give more stuff a try. Then I'm just like I don't really care.
Right.
I just I listen to some just to get the feel for it and go, oh, okay, now I see. At least I know what people are talking about, but I never really go out of my way to. I don't, it's hard for me to get really invested in new stuff. It does happen occasionally, but it's kind of few and far between. I feel like I'm just like old enough to be like, I just like what I like from my old crap. So
Yeah, that's some industrial dad vibes of like I'm gonna.
yeah,
slip
I mean,
on my-
I mean,
I'm just gonna wear my sweatpants to this. Is that all right?
the dressing up part of things, like yeah, right, whatever. But I mean, but the thing is, I do like listening to a ton of new stuff. I just don't like. It's all the kind of just more weird hipstery stuff that I
Sure.
just really seem to appreciate, and that the stuff that they substance type bands and all the like Boy Harshers and all bands that sound like Boy Harshers. It was very awesome, very nice people. We played with them a couple times, and it's but I kind of like that new school of stuff that's just not the 2010s stuff that I got real tired of after a while. So
Sure. Fair enough.
of which a lot of friends make it and are wonderful people and friends, and it's nothing against them. It's just again, you kind of just fall out of things sometimes. So
Absolutely.
yeah, but it's still fun to hang out.
Yes.
Good people.
Agree on that point as well. I still love industrial music mostly, but I don't know. I feel like I've kind of seen a lot of what it has to offer. And I feel like there are a lot of people who are maybe, not living up to the potential I see in them. Maybe that sounds like, oh, I fucking know better, but I don't mean it that way. But, just I sort of. I saw that person growing on a path and towards a trajectory that they are still on. They just have not made it to the next step of whatever, and maybe they never will.
I mean, it feels to me, and again, I don't listen to everything, so just I'm bullshit in some ways, I guess, but I don't see a lot of growth in certain areas that got real comfortable being big shit, a long time
Mm.
ago, or that style being big shit a long time ago. There's still people that are doing a really good job with it. And I'm happy to know quite a few of those people, but I just don't. Yeah, it's samey. It's samey. I find most of it really performative, like, but in the bad way, like not like good performance. Like it's just like, oh, we're supposed to sing songs about this, and it's like, yeah, well, that's not interesting at all anymore because
Yeah.
you're not put. There are people who have influences but are not their influences, and then there are people that see that worked and they go, ooh, like how it was in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, where it's like, wow, that band sounds like V&V Nation. Guess what? That other band sounds like V&V Nation. So
Yeah.
it was like a lot of bands getting signed because they had that virus sound. And this again, not I keep bringing up V&V Nation. I have no problem with Ronan and stuff like that, but um
Yeah,
uh
sure you don't.
not personally. It's not my it's not again not my thing, but it's not. But he's always been fine enough to me.
Mm.
But regardless, it's like there's always copycats, and it's I don't know. It kind of always is, but it's always it's just whatever was the big last style. So in the mid 2000s, it was there was all these copycat bands of the future pop bands, or like these still the Nine Inch Nails wannabes, and um,
Mm.
the Marilyn Manson wannabes. Oh Christ, yeah, that was
Mm.
really honestly the big one at the time. And
Mm.
these bands that got big and really did well, so they're like, yeah, I'll have this band where I put makeup all over my face, and I'm and I look ghastly. Ooh, I'm ghastly. Well, name our band the Ghastly Babies. And it was just stupid. These new metal influenced kind of bullshit. And uh yeah, and again, it's we're going through a neat phase where there's a lot of really out there bands that I don't quite get, but I'm glad
Mhm.
that they're there.
Yes.
And there's certain labels like Negative Gain that really don't put out a lot of the more mainstreamy stuff. And I was on Negative Gain. I recently left the label, and it was just a choice because I just didn't know if I had a home anywhere. So it was nothing. And I saw Micah over the weekend, and we love each other. But like they're putting out a lot of really interesting stuff. I just don't know if I fit in that world, but I kind
Mhm.
of know if Caustic fits in any world at this point, and that just is a me thing. But it's kind of cool to see labels taking bigger chances on some bands, and certain bands like Xenias and Bedless Bones getting signed by Metropolis makes me very happy, because they have a very good network, people who work it for them, and small network, but a very good network of people that work there, and who will hopefully be able to get their names out in the United States more. So it's a good thing, but there's also, yeah, just a lot of like, why is this band still doing this type band? And
Yeah.
either they're regurgitating the same music over and over again, or they're just like, okay, I mean, I'm glad you're still around. I'm sure people look at me and go, why is he still around too? But it's like,
Mhm.
if I don't see artists pushing themselves, it's not, it's hard for me to really, I don't know, respect it. It's like, I don't, yeah, do what you want. People like what they like. I just think that,
Mhm.
some people tread water. And that's a lot of like, especially a lot of the bands that were really big in the 2000s, who, especially European bands. But in Europe, they want you to not change your sound once you've got something good.
Yes.
But, but for every band like that, you got a Covenant who will do all kinds of weird shit, and they're awesome. So,
Yes.
and Daniel Meyer and people like that. So there's
Agree.
there's there's definite awesome artists there too. So.
Yeah.
But the big ones are all kind of like snooze fests. So
Yes, agree. There's a lot of things that are popular that I are, little baby nap time to me for whatever reason. I just am like, uninteresting, seen it, heard it, moving on. Anyway, the less about us being snobby old men. What, what
Hey,
is,
I push so many young acts. I am snobby about the older artists that are boring. So,
no, that
uh,
is totally fair.
so
And honestly, I have some sort of thing wrong with me where like the moment people sort of try to uphold something as being like, oh, this band or this record from 20, 30 years ago is the best of this thing, BEST or some other superlative. No, get out of here. Like fucking quit upholding I just like I have this weird like vibe, this urge to just reject anything that somebody tries to uphold and tells me, this is the best this blah 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 thing has ever been. No, it's not. I can promise you it is not. Something better will come along. And nonetheless, like superlatives are fucking subjective. This is a subjective thing.
Oh
Like
well,
have
yeah.
the
I mean,
fucking
there's enough
self-awareness.
people. I mean, even when it comes to certain bands, if you say like, oh, what's the best Skinny Puppy album, and you're going to get 10 different answers.
Right.
Which means Skinny Puppy made a lot of good albums because you can't
Right.
be like that one was just terrible the entire way through.
Yes.
But I mean, yeah, it's and I tend to drift towards albums that were not very popular by certain bands, so
Yes.
especially older bands. Like I'm a big Filth Pig fan. I was a big
Uh
Ministry Filth Pig fan,
I liked Dark Side of the
and
Spoon a lot. Like Eureka's
I see.
Isle is like one of my favorite
I
Ministry
should give it
songs.
another try because I really was tired of just hearing about Al's addiction stuff at that
Yeah,
point. I think my wife has the CD, and I think I've listened to it once, and I knew Bad Blood was really good. The remix of Bad Blood on the Matrix soundtrack was really
really
good.
good. Yeah.
But I should give it a listen. It's been a while, and I didn't think much of it at the time, but I'll definitely say it was still many steps above all the post Barker stuff. And there's been some good post Barker stuff too, but
Couple tracks.
couple tracks, couple albums here and there. But what
Albums,
else?
Matt.
Kind of a weird.
Albums.
I will say Americant, regardless of that horrific title. And I know mine is a terrible thing to taste, but when you're a kid, that sounds a lot cooler than like From Beer to Eternity.
Oh, God.
But Americant had some cool old school vibes to it. And I've heard that some of the new stuff's really good too, but I kind of just dismiss it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna check it out.
Because I'm gonna be a dick about it. But anyway, so back
That's
to what
fair.
you were asking me about.
Yeah, what the fuck were
We're
we?
about ranting about old. Oh yeah, but Americant is still not their best album. Anyway, so BEST.
Yes, I'm more interested in hearing favorites. Like, what is somebody's favorite thing? That's what I want to hear. Like more than
Yeah.
like what you think is their best, because I feel like
Yeah,
that
and
comes with all these connotations, and it's something that a. Sorry, I'll let you speak in 1 second. I just have
no,
to
it's
get this
fine.
out
You
really
should
quick.
please take some time.
No,
I'm just going.
no, I just like this is my chance to bitch about a thing while it's relevant. There is a record label in our scene that I had to unfollow. Like I've had their artists on the show and everything, and I was following them, but I had to unfollow them on social media because every other post was some superlative shit, like blah 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 is ahead of their peers. What peers? The bands they're trying to go on tour with? The bands they're contemporaries? Like how are they ahead of them? By what standard? What metric are we using for this? And then, their next post was like, oh, the best blah, blah, blah of such and such. No, it's not. You don't get to say that. People get to determine these things. Like, I just got so frustratingly annoyed with, like, how smarmy it is.
The copy that
Artifact Records.
your
I'll say
bands-
it. That's who it is. I don't care. It's fine.
Oh, it's fine. No. I mean,
we could
Yasik's
say
my
more.
best friend.
We could say
Yasik
more
was
about
the best
that,
man at
but-
my wedding, but you can keep saying whatever you want about my best friend. No, actually,
Sorry.
he's a good guy, but I don't even remember seeing their stuff. Oh, it's really.
I apologize.
I do know him, but I am fucking with you.
Okay.
It's I find the copy written for my favorite when bands write their own copy, and you can very much tell it. But I mean, it's the like, yeah, we are a revolution of sound that sounds like 12 other bands that sound the same as you. I've long railed against that. I probably even wrote a MySpace like post about it at one point, just talking about I think it was actually called "You Are Not a Revolution."
Yeah.
It's just
excellent.
about being honest, and I've always had a lot of fun writing my own copy because I tend to be a dipshit in it, and but it's very self-deprecating
Uh,
and self-effacing, and
I'm
it's fun. So
right. I agree. I'm just a shitty asshole about it. Is what it is. Is that like
no,
I
I
just
no, you're no, but
I-
I mean, you're being literal about it, as opposed to where people are just like, yep, this guy's just trying to sell peanut butter. So it's like, yeah, it's like the advertising is people
it
are not.
lands as
It's
smarmy.
it can land the wrong way.
Yes.
It can land the wrong way, and yeah, there's it's like a Spanish or a German label that'll write out like for every song on this EP of like 3 songs. They go through it like it's a wine review, and it's like this is a stupid EBM song and the kicks sound weird. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
stop making it sound like this band that has like worse gear than I do, and I do not have good gear,
Yeah.
is like really doing something influential. wait until they have a couple sales first before you start like shooting your load all over people about them, because kind of the same thing you're saying.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. That is also probably just my own personal chip on my shoulder of like, you don't get to tell me what's the best of just. So
Yeah,
that's my own oppositional
but you can
issue.
read you can read it how you need to, though. I mean,
Mhm.
but it's also, I mean, it's how do you communicate with people in terms of
Sure.
yeah, just being kind of honest instead of like
Yeah.
hyping it up to a stupid level.
Yes.
So I've never seen the artifact posts, but I mean, there's plenty of examples out there. You can just
Sure.
throw a rock.
Yeah. Sorry. No offense to anybody, but there's my little bitchy rant for the for the
That's
podcast.
okay. Artifact's been in the artifact's been in the
I was
crosshairs
just
a
gonna
lot
say,
the last couple of weeks.
I was gonna say that's a hot name.
That is a hot name. That's
Oh,
yeah.
oops. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, people fuck up. It's fine.
Mm.
Not the end of the world. So
All right. Moving on. I will I will go ahead and put the last question of the podcast to you, which is what is something that you're enjoying right now? Your answer can be anything from, a book, a movie, a TV series, a song, an album, something in your life. Just what's something that springs to mind that you're jazzed about?
I've been pretty stoked about the holidays.
Okay. You're
I'm
like a
typically
holiday
not super
fan?
stoked. No, I'm not. I usually get
Weed
really
Santa has
aggravated.
changed your mind?
No, no. But no, I'm terrible at gift giving, to be very honest.
Sure.
I get weirdly like I'm super creative in many ways, but when it comes to things like any holiday, like even like holidays like Halloween, I do not have any idea what I should ever be. I'm just like, what's another bald person? I'll be
Right.
the like, Matt, you can put on a wig, you could be a banana. It does not matter. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't think of those things. But I'm just stoked. My kids are getting a little bit older. I have 3 kids 10 and under.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty stoked about that. I've also been watching The Wire. So there, I'll put something out there. It's a little more concrete. I've been watching The Wire for the first time too.
I did see you
HBO show.
posting about watching The Wire.
Yeah,
and I was so
it's been
excited for you.
really rad. It's been very, very, very cool.
Yeah.
And I got my sister watching it too, who'd never seen it. So she'll like text me and be like, "Oh my god!" And I'll be like, "I know." So it's that's been fun.
Yeah.
That's in terms of the non-music world and the non being excited about my kids being stoked about the holidays world. So yeah.
Okay. Good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you post about how you were gonna watch The Wire, and I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, The Wire's great!"
I
Like,
I'm like, when do I have time for this commitment? Because I knew I'd get into it. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody loves it. This is not like a you're gonna love it or hate, like it's like the Twin Peaks new thing that they had on Showtime. I'm like, people were just like, it's fucking weird, and I'm like, yeah, but it's my kind of weird. I'll watch it. I won't understand a damn thing going on, but I'm just like, I'm so glad David Lynch exists and somebody gave him a lot of money to make this. This makes me so happy. I don't get it.
Mhm.
That was creepy. Okay, I don't understand what's happening again. So, yeah. The Wire. It was just more like I need to know. I know I'm going to binge this.
Mhm.
So how many things do I get? When do I have the least amount of things to blow off?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been really rad. That's been
Yeah.
cool. So I'm
Good choice.
finishing- I think it's 5 seasons. So I got about a season and a half left. So
Okay.
been cruising through it. Yeah.
Yeah, good answer. Shit, what is my own answer? Losing weight is my answer. I have been, I realized not long ago that About 2 years ago, I was like 100 pounds heavier than I am
Oh
now.
gosh,
Um,
really?
yeah, a close call with death is all it took, and so
There?
having to have spine surgery and stuff.
Oh
But
gosh.
going down shirt sizes, going down pant sizes. I just got myself my Christmas present was a behemoth hoodie from Poland, which is like ordered from like their direct merch store, which is like all of their merch is I've raved about behemoth merch on this podcast too many times probably,
Okay.
but here's another one. Um like everything is like ethically fucking sourced, and like I've never had a hoodie of such quality. I bought a behemoth shirt last
That's
year.
awesome.
It is like the highest quality fucking shirt I've ever owned, and it's all like it's their own brand, like on the label inside and everything. Like it's like quality, like makes all the merch in our scene seem like
I've
stupid
I've
dog shit.
I have I have bumped up my quality
Okay, I
to
will touch.
much higher quality because I'm
Okay.
using Brant from Solve and Damon.
Mhm.
He started a shirt business, and he actually lives like 10 minutes from me. He and his amazing wife Nancy, who is the other half of Damon, and their lovely daughter, live real close to me. And he started doing screen printing. So
Mhm.
I've been using him for a bunch of stuff, but I've been using really good shirts finally because some people were
Sweet.
like, Matt, your shirts are not good, and I was like, nobody told me this. I
Yes.
don't wear my own damn shirts. So I was just trying to buy like
Mhm.
something that wouldn't fall apart. They're like, I'd rather it fall apart than be uncomfortable. I was like,
Yep.
fair,
I
fair.
bought
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money buying Void Signal shirts to bring to Mechanismus last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for guests, people who'd been on the show, and I was like, oh, I'll surprise them with it and like whatever. So I got these shirts made, had them shipped there. So opening them from the
Oh yeah,
box,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I was all like, oh, they look great, but like, I wish people had told me sooner. You know,
yeah. I was just kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, 'cause I'm also not a person who like, unless the shirt's like really uncomfortable or just doesn't fit right at all. I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. It's a shirt.
yeah,
I appreciate a good shirt, but my threshold for like going, this is a bad shirt is pretty high. I don't care that
this
much.
this shirt
I
is
put,
fucking bad. Like, yeah,
I
it
can
takes a lot to get me there.
I can accept it. I mean, unless the shirt's like punching me in the balls actively, I don't really care that much. So yeah, but I'm 100% with you, and I have upgraded my shirts, and I've
Okay.
had people like literally messaging me going, what brand and style of the shirt? Because my wife wants us to buy some of those shirts.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Like people just going, this shirt's so great that you need to tell me about it. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
That is how
So
I feel
yeah,
about my
but I'm with
behemoth
you.
merch. Like it is
Yeah,
so
and that's
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's nice.
it is. It's wonderful. It's fucking like anyway, ethically sourced stuff from the behemoth store, and it looks fucking rad. Like cool merch is uh we need more cool merch in the scene. Like and
We
cool
do.
one-off
We
stuff.
need.
Like not just like shirts, like other stuff.
It is very fun to do that. I mean, the only thing that I always get nervous about is that I'm like, people, you know, 100 people like, this is the best thing. I'll get it definitely. Then nobody buys it.
Right.
And that doesn't happen all the time. Luckily, I have a pretty good track record of, you know, being able to sell enough to, and I also know how to like set up the pricing so I don't get screwed. I'm
Right.
like, I have to sell every one of these plus 10 more I don't have, and then I'll break even. But yeah, making one-off stuff is a good time. Is a
Yeah,
good time, and there's some bands that do a great job with it. So
for sure. All right, good answers all around of things that you were enjoying.
thank you.
This was a pleasure, Matt. Thank you for coming on and giving me some of your time, letting me yell at you about scene bullshit.
Well,
Um,
thank you for letting me ramble ridiculously, and I do apologize. It's kind of how I
it's
roll,
fine. It's the vibe.
but at least I was trying to be mildly entertaining. So hopefully, at least
Um,
I was mildly so.
mid, maybe mid level.
Mid, I'll take it. I'll take it. Considering I get told by my kids that I'm the worst person on earth many times a day.
Oof,
Because
savage.
for doing things like asking them to get up and pick up a piece of paper. They're
Right.
young kids. I'm used to it. It's really okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take mid is what I'm saying.
Okay.
It feels good.
That's where I'm at most of the time. I'm pretty mid most of the time. That's okay. I'm all right. That's my
As long as
speed.
I'm not bad. As
Yeah.
long as I'm not bad, I'm good in my
Yeah.
mind. So yeah.
That's right. I keep it cult. That's what I say. But
Hey,
actually,
very good.
I'm just keeping it mid. Is is what that really means. All right.
I keep it cult because that's my because I'm a niche within a niche within like a niche. So
Yes.
yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah. Once we both have our own cult compounds, we can consider like merging them if you want. I'm gonna have a lot of.
Oh no,
good
it's a
stuff.
church. There is, if not was, a Church of Caustic group that somebody started on Facebook. I don't think it's. I mean, it was started by people in my area.
Okay.
And it might still be around. I'm not sure. I
Well,
thought that was very funny.
I'll
So,
give you a call when the Voidian compound in
that
opens.
hey, that's cool. I'll open one next door. We can borrow sugar from each other and stuff.
Yeah, it'll be quaint.
Yeah,
All
come
right.
over for pie parties.
Oh, I would love to
I
do
just
a
want
pie
pie parties.
Yeah,
I think
I
pie
was
parties
just gonna
are
say,
lovely.
can we do a pie party? Oh,
I would love to do a pie party.
yeah, like let's do a pie party for sure. The next thing we're both gonna be at, I will bring you a pie if you bring me one, and we'll have. I don't give a shit. Other
Okay.
people can come. Like we'll tell everybody in the scene we know who's gonna go and be like, hey, bring pies, and we will all sample each other's pies.
I had the last time I toured.
Is that what
which
you
was
do
quite
as a
some-
pie
well,
party?
to-
I assume.
No. Well, one of them, the last little mini tour we did, I was doing Combi Christ was doing things where people could come party on the bus with them and stuff, and I was doing combos parties where I'd bring pizza combos and people would come hang out in my Honda Element that we were touring in, and we
Sweet.
just like take pictures of us eating terrible, bite into it and it's pizza dust food.
Ugh, yeah, they're not good.
But I made a joke that on the tour previous, the Eternal Legends of Metropolis Records tour that I did with Everything Goes Cold, is that I made a joke offhand that somebody should bring me ham. And then my friend Kathleen literally had people bringing me ham in almost every city in so many different forms. Like in Phoenix, I think we actually got a full frozen ham.
Wow.
Somebody was like on stage with us.
Interesting.
The last show, the second to last show, second to last show, Portland show. She actually showed up. She lives in like Montreal, and totally surprised us. And it was one of the craziest, drunkest shows for not me but other people that we've ever had. And it was a very memorable night. And I adore her. So I adore them rather. I'm sorry, I adore them. Yeah. So
Excellent.
I'm just gonna say. Pies at a show are not going to be unknown for me, says the guy who's been covered with Jilly Donut and Parfait during Caustic shows.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I party is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, is that, like,
good
when pies get involved, a party
I want
happens.
people to know that apparently I should have food at my shows.
Yeah, apparently.
Because the cracker plate that we get is shit. So bring us food.
Yeah, we'll do
good food.
We'll do a pie party at some point in the future, Matt. I promise.
I would love a pie party.
Yeah,
I feel
too.
it.
Yeah. All right, get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for your time.
You too. And thank you for your time, man. I appreciate this. It was nice to talk to you in person over the lines. So.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Have a good rest of your evening, and I will talk to you again soon.
Very good.
All right. Cheers.
Bye. Thanks, man.
Void Signal intro and outro music courtesy Processor. Visit processor2.bandcamp.com for more Processor, and visit voidsignal.net to help support the creation of more Void Signal. Thank you.